Hello everyone, Laura here, and it is 3:10, and I am just sitting down to film today's video. It's all good though. It's all good. I really am going into Vlogtober with, a very zen-like, relaxed attitude. If it gets done, it gets done, and we're just gonna have some fun with this because that really is what it's all about, right? Plus, I had to do some work this morning, and I also did my workout because lately, when I have been saving my workouts for later in the evening, either I skip them or I put in a half-hearted effort. So I went ahead and took care of that, and then I had a nice long chat with my mom. So there you go, my excuses. But that's okay because today is Friday and another day for Vlogtober.
It's Vlogtober with joyful miles and running with grace. It's Vlogtober.
So it's been a long time since I've done a training update. July, June? I can't even remember. It's okay, a long time. I'm kind of going to give you a little scoop on what's been going on up here in my head. As usual, a lot of crazy going on up there. And then next week, I will update you all with what's going on with my foot. For our new subscribers, first of all, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. But I did go through a very long injury issue. I was injured for about, was it 9 to 10 months? I had a partial plantar plate tear. You can get the whole scoop by clicking on the video up here or down below. So just really quick about that. So far, so good. So there you go. I'm running. I'm not feeling any pain. Yoga's been helping, and I'm going to get more into detail next week. But because it has been a long time, I apologize in advance if I get very rambly with this one because I just have a lot to share, and I really don't quite have a plan. I have some notes scribbled here, but that's about it. So you know what? I'm just going to grab my tea, and we're going to jump in, both feet. So yeah, we had a bit of a stressful, chaotic summer. I'm not even going to get into the whys because everybody has those stressful times, and it's okay. That's life. It's just life. And I still had a really great time with my family. It's always lovely to have my boys home from college, and I was still happy because I have adapted a plan several years ago that I call In the Meanwhile. It was we were having a very wow, we were having a rough time. It was a rough couple years though. Again, details don't matter. We all have those years. And I felt like I was bombarded from all ends, personal, family, business. Just it was very stressful, very hard. There was like a couple months where I didn't even leave my house. But one day I was sitting on my kitchen floor crying. And not the delicate little wipe away tears. I'm talking like flat out. I was bawling, y'all. And all of a sudden I stopped and I just had this realization like, oh my God, this is my life. This is my life, and you only get one here on earth, and what am I doing? I'm sitting on a dirty kitchen floor crying. I'm missing life. I was missing my life because, and I had good reasons to not be, I don't know. I'm getting lost here. I'm going to try to plow through this without a lot of breaks. There was good reasons for those tears, but I just was done, and I came up with a policy that okay, there are some things going on that really suck right now. There's always going to be some things that suck, but in the meanwhile, I'm going to be happy. I made the decision right then and there that I wasn't going to wait until certain things laid out or certain things were resolved and life was easier. I was going to be happy now, in the meanwhile, until things straightened out. So that was a long, rambling story, kind of about my policy in life. So even though things were a little crazy this summer, I was still happy, still having fun. What wasn't good though was how I was coping with that stress, and that is the subject in today's video. Now I have tap danced around the subject of, my eating disorders. I have had one for most of my life, haven't really dug deep into that topic because it's really, really hard to talk about. Like right now, I'm sitting on, in my office and completely by myself. I can't read your face. I can't see how you're reacting to what I'm saying, and it's really tough. I mean, if we were like sitting down face to face, over a couple beers or something, I mean, I would tell you the whole scoop. I would not hold back. But sitting here, so I'm working up to that. But I was mostly bulimic or I starved. So, kind of went back and forth with that. And I've always been a stress starver. I've told this to people before and they'd be like, oh man, I wish I had that problem. And, I know they don't mean anything by it because stress eating is just as unhealthy, but it's really not a good thing. Especially when you are trying to train and run and train for these big marathons like I am right now. So, there was a lot of times when, it'd be like 3 o'clock and I realized that I am just absolutely starving. And the reason why was because I didn't eat. I didn't eat that day. And, I would find myself saying things like, okay, as soon as I get, this proposal done, I'll go ahead and eat. As soon as I get this blog post done, I'll go ahead and eat. As soon as I'm done writing this chapter, I will eat. And I just keep delaying and delaying and delaying. Instead, I'm plowing through my to-do list. So yeah, I kind of like found myself, in a situation where I felt like crap all the time. I was constantly tired. I mean, if you saw the vlog where I was making costumes for the Disneyland half marathon, you can kind of see how stressed and a little bit ragged I was. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe no one else noticed it. But I felt like I looked bad, I felt bad, and I had to take a step back from, Joyful Miles a little bit. I mean, I was still putting up content, but not like I would have liked or like I would have planned. I realized that I was putting myself up in a very dangerous situation. I was setting myself up for another round of the eating disorder devil that has danced on my shoulder for most of my life. And I know my triggers. My triggers are stress and a feeling of no control in my life. Check. I had that. Weight gain. I did gain weight when I was injured. I haven't quite lost it yet. It's not a lot. It's like 5 pounds. But again, when you have a history, it's a red flag. And also, I had a very unbalanced sense of self. I wasn't writing fiction. And I love doing work with Joyful Miles. I love writing blog posts. I love putting together videos. I love filming. Sometimes I don't love editing. But anyway, that is very easy for me. And a lot of times I do feel as though I use that as an excuse to not write, because writing fiction, it's hard, but it's also my calling. It's where my heart really is. So when I don't write, I just feel very, as a writer, I should have a good word now, shouldn't I? I feel very just lost and unfulfilled. And, I feel bad. Like I know I'm not living my authentic life, You feel that guilt from not doing what, using the gift that God has given you. So anyway, I had all 3 of those components. Oh my gosh, did I just do 4? Whatever, moving on. Check, check, check. So yeah, I saw the red flags, and I gotta tell y'all, I am 48 years old, which by the way is a fabulous age, and I claim every one of those years, and I love this stage in life. I've loved all of them. That's a topic for another video though. I told you I was going to get rambly. I'm really sorry. So anyway, I saw the signs, and I don't want to go down that road again. I did not like that road. That road was bumpy and hard and not fun. So I knew that, okay, it's time to take a step back and do some reevaluating in life. I had, a talk with my husband, because, he's my shoulder, he's my rock. And I know I can always say things to him. It's funny with Bob, he always knows what to say. He always knows what to say to put me back in place. He always knows he always has the words. He's like the yin to my yang. So he was really supportive. I'm turning my page here because I got lost. What else? Oh, I also started to track my calories again on MyFitnessPal, not because I'm trying to lose weight, but because if I don't eat enough, I gain weight. And that's probably why I have not been able to lose my weight, because I'm not eating enough. So I've been tracking calories, and another habit that I have started back up with is morning pages. Now, if you've never heard of morning pages, it is a really in-depth journaling technique that was created by Julia Cameron. She wrote the book My Artist's Way. I'm going to link it below there. If you're a writer or a creative type, or someone who's just struggling with their artistic abilities or endeavors, whatever the right word is. Again, moving on. This video is going to be so bad. It is where every morning, as soon as you wake up, you write 3 pages in a journal. It could be a spiral notebook. I actually use one of these that I got at Staples. It's very pretty and matches my other journals. And you just write freehand. I actually wrote a blog post on my personal author website about this that gets into a lot more detail and why it has helped me so much. But it's just where you purge down every single thought that runs rampant in your head. You just write it down. There is no rights or wrong. If you want to beat yourself up about the things that you haven't been doing, you write it down and you just get it out of your system. Or if you just want to write about the things you got to do that day or the things you wish you could do or anything. And what this has done, it's just taken all the crazy that's up in my head and puts it down on paper. And then I can just be like, okay, now let's move on with the rest of my day. So that has been extremely helpful. I'm going to actually talk a little bit more about this in an upcoming video about balancing life and training. And I've also started writing again. I'm working on a mid-grade novel that I really love. It's a lot of fun. Of course, I'm overcomplicating things because that's my style, apparently. So yeah, I've been trying to take a step back and really kind of put myself back together. So there you go. That's what's been going on with me mentally. Why am I talking about this? I always think that when I'm inspired to speak about something or write about something, it's because there's someone out there who needs to hear it. And maybe that's you. And, as someone who's had a very long history with eating disorders, I know how when you are doing strenuous type of training, how that can sometimes put you in a danger zone. Because when you look at the miles that you've been doing, when you're like, oh, gosh, I've done 10 miles. Man, if I just did 5 more, I would burn this many more calories. Or, if I dropped my calorie count, 400 calories, maybe I would lose a little bit more weight. And I know it can set you up into a very dangerous position. And, it's so unsafe to not have your nutrition in check when you're doing these heavy miles. So I'm trying to tell my story a little bit more in case it's helpful to just one person. So with that, I am going to close this video up and pray that I sound somewhat cohesive in it. I really have my doubts, so thank you for listening to all of my rambles. Again, thanks to our new subscribers. Really appreciate having you here and your support, and for our longtime supporters as well. Many thanks. Yeah, so be on the lookout. Heather is going to have her update tomorrow. She's going to sound a lot better than me. I'm just going to wrap this up by saying thank you for watching. Take care and have a joyful day.